大家好，我的名字是 Francesca Calisi. Today I'm going to be discussing cars and transportation from American-built cars versus Chinese-built cars, the way they built and how they transport people. I'll also be discussing transportation, public transportation among American public transportation compared to Chinese public transportation. First, what is an American car? 或者美国车 American cars are generally vehicles designed, engineered, and manufactured in American car companies. Some big ones that you'll see is Ford, GMC, or Chevrolet. Those will be your very big American car companies, and most of the time you'll see trucks or big engines. What is a Chinese car? Or 中国车? A Chinese car refers to cars that are manufactured in China or built by one of the Chinese manufacturers. Mind you that they do sell both American cars and Chinese cars in both countries. You can purchase them. Just some Chinese cars, California state law regulates air suspension, so it is harder to get a Chinese car in the state of California. Traits in American cars 或者中国车 or 美国车对不起 American car engines are more focused on giving the car more power compared to fuel efficiency. In America, you'll have something called horsepower, and the higher you go, what makes people think, oh, that's the car that they like is because of how fast the car can go and how much horsepower. The average car ranges from 175 to 210 horsepower, and those have typically smaller engines compared to an engine that has a 400 horsepower to 1,000 horsepower. In American cars, motors are typically bigger compared to Chinese cars. 与中国汽车相比，美国汽车的引擎通常更大。Some big engine cars you'll see as sports cars. Starting off with the Mustang, you also have the Dodge Charger, the Camaro, and the Corvette. Those are going to be American sports cars that have very big engines to compete and have the bigger engine. Starting off with the Mustang has the 5.0 or the Cobra or even just the GT. They can range from 200 horsepower to 310. Then you also have V6 engines, V8s, V10s, and V12s. In some rare cases, there have been motors built for V18, which is a super fast and super high-powered engine. In America, the engines are known to be heavier, 很较重. They're also gasoline-powered sports cars. Gasoline is also 汽油. And again, going back to Mustangs, Chargers, Corvettes, we'll start off with the 5.0, the Hellcat, the C8, and the Cobra. All of those will be gasoline-operated cars, but Dodge recently released in 2023 an electric sports car with speakers that act as the exhaust. The price of the American car is typically more expensive. 美国车很贵. 贵 is expensive because of the bigger engines and motors. American electric vehicles are actually the top of the market globally. Tesla is an American-built company, of course, Elon Musk. And then steering wheels in America, they're going to be on the left-hand side of the car compared to China or the European countries that have them on the right side of the car. Steering wheels in Chinese would be 方向盘. Traits of a Chinese car 或者中国车. 中国车很小，但是他们很电气，用电气. They use battery. According to ChineseCars.com, they use more electric vehicles compared to gasoline vehicles for the efficiency and how much safer they are for the planet. Chinese cars are used for cities and they're lighter weight and have better gas/electric mileage. They have lighter engines because they use batteries compared to gasoline and horsepower. China sports cars, 跑车 is sports car. 没有那么多跑车 compared to America. 美国有很多跑车. Not California. America specifies in sports cars, so does Germany and I want to say France specify in very specific sports cars. In China, they aren't known for their sports cars, but in America, people like to get sports cars because of how powerful and fast they are. In Chinese cars, they have more brake technology and technology inside of the vehicle itself. For one example being the anti-brake locking system, assisted braking, seat position memorization, and personal screen settings. Also, Chinese cars are lighter weight due to having less of an engine and leaning more towards electric vehicles compared to gasoline. Air suspension in their vehicles, 让汽车更容易移动. Air suspension is heavily regulated in the state of California due to how many sports cars you can see in California. Air suspension is used more in China compared to our normal shocks. Makes the car easier to maneuver. Lastly, the traits of a Chinese car. Because of the technology increase and rapid innovation in China compared to America, cars are equipped with more functions to better the driver's experience. Car culture compared to China versus America. 汽车文化 car culture. In America, 很多人喜欢他们的汽车或者车，因为他们用车很多。People in America use their cars every day, and it equals freedom. That's why people in America are so stuck on loving their car. Cars are considered to be a part of everyone's identity rather than something they use as a necessity. That's why people like the flashy look of cars, because it's something people see every day. DIY car modifications are super common in America. One being louder radio, another being a change in exhaust, or engine swapping. Engine swapping from a V8 to a V6 to a V8. Or even higher, such as the modified engine of the V18. Public transportation in America is not known for being clean. There's record of being homeless people, gum, trash on a lot of our public transportation that aren't owned by private people. Car equals freedom, 汽车 equals 自由. People are less attached to their cars in America and will not have brand loyalty. Owning a car is just overall expensive in America. Buying a car, gas, registration, including the insurance cost. Now, China, 中国. People tend to use more public transportation due to the high amount of traffic it's in China. 这是连开车都需要赶上的时间. It takes a lot of time to get a car. There's a lottery system to get a license plate in China. Sometimes you can wait 1 to 2 years to get a license plate. And the lottery system makes it really incredibly hard to get a car. Even though you can use a car, the bus is a lot cleaner and you're not on a lottery system when it takes to the bus. Chinese cars have more of a loyal fan base, meaning that they buy one brand and they stick with one brand compared to America. If they buy a Ford, they jump to a Mustang, or they'll jump to a Chevy or a Tacoma. Focus on innovating other things than cars. In China, they're more focused on innovating their technology compared to their cars because the cars won't change. All you need to do is be able to drive. 很多人用手机，没有用车. A lot of people use more phones more than cars, so there's no need to innovate the car. Features in an American car. The engine. American cars have louder and more powerful engines than Chinese cars. 汽车引擎更大很多声音, so we are louder. More sound comes out of the vehicle because of how powerful the engine is. Cars sell well in America, but there are tons of extra fees when it comes to buying a car. Again, going back to insurance, buying the car itself, registration costs, and gas. 你用很多钱买车因为很贵. You use a lot of money to buy a car because of the amount of expensiveness it has, a bunch of other features, and insurance. Insurance is a big cost in America because car accidents happen, and so some car companies will range from $1 a day in insurance to thousands of dollars a year. Safety. American cars are built with seatbelts, airbags, padded seats, and some cars have carbon fiber. Some American cars are built with a setting called a governor. One car that has a governor when you first buy it off the lot is going to be the Jeep Renegade. 2009 through 2013 are one of the most common years that have a governor. A governor limits the speed of your car and how fast it can go without struggling. Features in a Chinese car. in the Chinese car engine, they're known to be smaller and more fuel efficient. 你不用买汽油就可以省钱. To get a license plate in China, you're required to go through a lottery system, which meaning you get put into a drawing and you might get a license plate within a year to 5 years. Safety in Chinese cars. Many Chinese cars are built with an automatic braking system or anti-brake locking. Brake locking can ruin your brake pads and also lead the car into skidding. 这些车会帮你停车. Again, it helps you brake the car automatically. It uses a sensor to find a car in front of you. Most cars in both America and China, 中国和美国, offer settings such as position memorization, seat position memorization. So if you're tall, it'll put the seat back and you can save it, or if you're short, you can set the seat up forward. Public transportation in America. American transportation is not known to be clean in any way. When you ask any American why they don't use the bus, one of the big reasons is because it's dirty. 美国巴士不大，而且味道很臭. One of the most common things you'd find in public transportation in America are homeless people sleeping on the bus, gum under the seats, or trash on the floor. And one common thing is people avoiding bus fares. New York subway has a high crime rate, even though 45% of people participate in fare evasion, meaning they jump onto the subway withopaying. 美国大众人数犯罪率高 Bus, 公车 subway, 捷运 train, 火车. Public transportation in China. In China, public transportation is used a lot more than cars due to how difficult it is to obtain a car, and urban life makes a car less of a necessity. 在中国，他们有每小时行驶超过200英里的自电列车. Study shows that people in China are more respectful to one another, including the objects that they use daily in China compared to America. There are a lot more buses being funded in China because of bad traffic and wanting to carpool more for global purposes. In America, so much crime happens on the bus, some locations even have forces to monitor the bus. San Francisco has a Muni unit. San Francisco is one of the many locations to have public transportation anti-theft unit. Police officer, traffic ticket, crime, and theft are going to be the main vocab words for this section. Types of transportation in the U.S., we have buses, ferries, van pools, cable cars, shared taxi, urban transit. You also have different types of rails, the Metrolink, trains, and trams. You also have subways, but we also have dial rides, where you can dial the number and they'll pick you up. Types of public transportation in China, they also have buses, bicycle sharing system, transit buses, ferries, more trains, and air. My opinion on the topic. Cars are unique in their own ways. 我喜欢美国车，但是它们是很贵. I like American cars, but they're so expensive. I preferably like the Mustang. 我有美国车. I have my own car. It is an American-built car. I think public transportation in America should be more like transportation in China. American buses should be a lot cleaner. China should make it easier to get a license plate instead of having to wait a year on a lottery system. And lastly, I don't think the textbook would have benefited in this presentation, as it didn't discuss much about public transportation or the vocabulary used for cars and vehicles. These are the resources I use to find all my information. Thank you.